A longtime state lawmaker is heading into retirement after spending years in the Senate with the last few in turmoil. Dave Schultz says he's walking away. Only News 3's political reporter Jessica Arp has his story.
Jessica, I've decided after listening to my constituents and a lot of contemplation, thought with my wife and family that I'm not going to stand for re-election this year.
The decision a long time coming.
To give kids an opportunity to belong.
For the Richland Center man, first elected to the Assembly in 1982, Senate in 1991.
We own a half mile that way.
At his farm near Hill Point, he recalls telling his wife he wanted to run for office.
She turns and she goes, "I always knew you'd do this to me." Then she said, "Run and get it out of your system."
His stock in the Capitol has waxed and waned, winning a close race for Majority Leader of the Senate against Scott Fitzgerald in 2004, losing that seat when Democrats took control in 2006.
I cannot support the bill.
Then becoming a swing vote in that House over the last 3 years of contentious bills.
I don't think this issue is going to go away.
His vote on Act 10, he says, was the hardest he made in 30 years.
I would say that because it was a point in my life when I had to make the decision, as I said, what was most important, what the people of my district wanted, as opposed to what would allow me to continue to be a member of the caucus in good standing.
Of his accomplishments, he counts among the biggest work on the lower Wisconsin Riverway.
Another witness to government, I think, can only help.
And helping start the Wisconsin Eye Network, Wisconsin's C-SPAN.
I know how powerful television is, and I know that when the people have the opportunity to see what's going on in the people's house, that's the ultimate in accountability.
He laments the state of his party and even says he feels uncomfortable with his deciding vote last session on voter ID.
And while I certainly think we need to safeguard the integrity of the ballot box, I think, we've crossed the line on a couple of occasions, and it's been a very uncomfortable situation for me having to vote along with the caucus because I've tried to be a good Republican.
Schultz already had a named primary opponent if he did run, Republican Representative Howard Markline, who Schultz says he won't endorse in the upcoming election because they disagree on votes on Act 10 and mining.
I've always felt that it was best to be candid and a straight shooter with people and not have, a prompter going in the back of your mind about what might be said.
Of his future plans, he says he's not sure, but won't count out running for another office, even a possible congressional bid for the 3rd District if Democrat Ron Kind makes a run for Senate.
Come here, buddy.
But the straight-shooting senator wants to leave this thought with his constituents as he begins his final year in office.
I've thought it through. I have certainly felt the love, and I know how much they would like me to stay, at least most of them. And I hope that they will recognize that sometimes it's just time to move on, and that they will take hope in the future.
Near Hill Point, Jessica Arp, WISC News 3.
Schultz is one of 3 longtime senators to announce they won't run for the state house again this year, including Democrats Tim Cullen and Bob Jauch, also considered moderates. All have cited the extremes and effect of money in politics.